Howdy.
Howdy. Thought you were going to do a little ditty.
I was gonna sing a little song, um, but then I thought no one wants to hear that but me.
Oh,
And
we
maybe
love
you,
to hear.
maybe you.
We love to hear your songs. I think your country music song that you did on, was it the one before that? So many people love that.
Yeah, your mom was like, "Oh my God, I love that song, Tara. You just
I
made that
know.
up
My
on the
mom was like,
spot." I
I
was like,
peed
"Yeah."
my pants laughing so hard.
You know, do you want to know okay, this is totally off topic, but on topic. The first night John and I went out when we were young, we were at the club and we had some drinks and I used to like be able to bust a flow, especially after some alcohol. And so John said he knew I was the one because we were in the cab because there was no Uber at this time. We were in the cab on the way home. And I was like talking to the cab driver and I was like, John, drop a beat. And he's dropped a beat. And I was like, there's our turn right there. Don't miss it. I really want to get a Whataburger honey chicken biscuit. And John was like, oh. And I was like, yeah. So anyway, I've always kind of had this special talent of being able to come up with a little song, little flow.
I love
Don't
that.
underestimate me.
I know. I wonder what I did that Chad knew I was the one. Uh, Probably nothing.
Probably can't talk
Not a.
about that on the podcast.
Oh
Oh.
no. No, I know he told you a couple stories of when he thought I was not the one.
Wait,
Remember
what?
when like the one about me in the Uber, this was like the birthday after I had Channing, so I was
Oh,
like
yes, yes, yes.
super postpartum, went with my friends to the Bruno Mars concert, coming home in the Uber, and the Uber driver ends up calling Chad and is like, "Do you like I have your wife's phone? She says y'all don't live here." He walks outside and they're at my house, and I had said that I think Chad that night was questioning everything. He was like, "Seriously, grow up, Lauren." But I
No,
have
don't grow
grown
up.
up
Never
since
grow
then.
up.
That was, well, yeah, that was just a fun. I needed to let loose. Things were hard at the time. I let loose
Yeah.
for one night. I ended
Oh
up
my
having
gosh.
to ride my bike to get an IV the next morning.
Do you know, like, I would rather like have diarrhea all day than be hungover with children at this point. Like
Oh,
I do
absolutely. For
like
sure.
I
There
I'm like,
there
I
is no
never want to
doubt.
chance it.
If I could go out and then know that I would just have diarrhea, like, I would do it, but I literally don't wanna drink or do anything because I don't want any sort of hangover. If I could guarantee the diarrhea, that would be great. If
Yeah.
that's all, because mine are so bad, and yours are too.
No. Oh, mine are
We're
so bad.
Ours are
And
the
it
same, though. Like, we feel sick, nauseous, just gross all day
And it,
long.
it and it's not we don't even party. Like we'll have
No.
like 2 or 3 drinks and we're hung over.
I
It's
It's
not
bad.
it's not the vibe anymore.
No, I don't wanna do it.
I know. So I haven't yeah. I just I don't have it in me. But we
No.
did have so much fun on our trip.
Yes, that's what I wanted to start with, was a quick
Yes.
recap of, so Tara and I just went to Telluride, um, God, last week? I guess it was last week. Like,
Yeah.
Friday, you were there Friday through Monday, and I stayed a little bit longer. Boo, don't, no. This
Oh,
daggum dog.
oh my god. Oh my god. Danielle's FaceTiming me. Did you hear my Did you hear the FaceTime go off?
Yes, yes,
Well,
I heard it.
Danielle, you're now on the podcast. You're officially on the podcast, Danielle. So well, your FaceTime was ignored. She's in Mexico right now. And so
Oh,
she's like just drunk dialing me, I think.
at 11 a.m. I love it.
Yeah, I love it. Oh gosh. Okay,
So
Telluride. I
yeah,
miss it
so we
so
were in
much.
Telluride. It was so beautiful. We had neither of us had ever been before. We did some snow skiing, which was so funny because we are not professional snow skiers at all.
Wait, why do you
But
call it snow ski? You call it snow ski? I just call it skiing. I was like, wait, we snow skied?
I don't, maybe that's a southern thing that we say snow skiing. Well, because
Yeah.
you water ski.
Yeah, but you call it water ski. When you say
Yeah.
you're
So
going
why not
skiing,
call it snow
people
ski?
I don't know. I just love it.
Skiing on
I
the,
love I, I
I
I
don't
just
see anything wrong with that.
there's nothing wrong with it. I'm just for
It's fine. You
that's
call crew neck sweaters. So,
I I know. Lauren hated that.
hmm
I would always call a crew neck. Look at you getting so she's all defensive. She's just like coming right back
well,
at me.
guess what? I'm
Okay, so
sorry.
we went okay, so we did go snow skiing. I'm sorry. I'm a professional.
Tara, you were so good. I was not, and not that I underestimated you, but you said you weren't very good.
Well,
And
I had
then
never skied
you,
before.
you, yes, you have. You had to have skied before to do that
I
good.
swear to God. I swear to
You've
God, I've
never
never
skied?
skied. No, I snowboarded one time when I was 15. So I have
You
natural
have,
athleticism. Yes.
I literally, I thought that you had skied like once or twice before.
No. No, ma'am. That's why I was so like just proud of myself. I was like, I am
Okay,
literally
well,
a professional.
she need you need an actual medal because you were so good. So Tara goes down the I mean, okay, I'm blown away. Like I'm looking at you in a totally different light now because I'm just like, wow.
I do I do great in crisis situations for someone who has a lot of trauma and like skiing down a mountain. I feel like that's a
Well,
crisis. Like you
we train for this every day. So it's fine. In our lives, we train for this.
Yeah.
Um so you like fly down the slope. I'm like going, I'm not really pizzaing, but I'm going like side to side because like I'm like a little baby deer, like got to get myself about me. Um,
Mhm. Mhm.
and then you were waiting at the bottom of the mountain, skis off, feet propped up on the table, ready to like on to the next. I was
I
like,
was so
oh my
ready.
gosh, I couldn't believe it. So Chad, he's good, but he kind of like is one that like waits for everybody else. And then John,
Oh, John.
oh John,
Oh,
he so
John.
John, so has John skied before? Because I
Uh,
felt like he had skied like maybe he's the one that had skied once or twice
he's the
before.
one that had skied once, and this was when Rob was first born. So I was like at the lodge
Okay, this was
postpartum depression.
2018.
Hmm.
Yes. Okay. So that's what I'm remembering then. Oh, so you were at the lodge and you didn't ski that time.
Yeah, because I was like way too
Okay.
depressed, and I was like, I'll just sit at the
I
lodge.
I remember all of this, but for some reason I thought that, oh my gosh, I am so Tara's a professional skier.
I'm telling you.
So John, he was pizzaing the whole way down,
Oh my
but
God.
he was trying so hard and seriously had the best attitude. I would have gotten frustrated and been like, I'm out of here. Like, y'all go ahead. But
Hmm.
he just really was trying and like wanted to do it. And he was still laughing and happy. And
Oh,
I, was trying because my go to is to like make fun of people. And I don't, I was trying really hard not to do that because I didn't want to make him feel bad,
I'm glad. I'm glad you did it because you do make fun of people.
but like in a joking way, not in an ugly way.
Tara
Um,
used to call crew neck sweaters.
Okay, maybe it's an ugly way.
I'm just joking.
All right. I quit
No,
the
but you did
podcast.
so good. You did so good with John. Like not
I was
making
trying to
jokes.
build him up, not push him down.
You did so great building him up. And John, yeah, I'm so proud of him. He did. He had the best attitude, but God, he took off his jacket when we got to the like restaurant and he was drenched in sweat. It was disgusting, like, but also like impressive that he was,
He was
but
obviously working hard
he was working so hard
because
because he would. Here's the thing, guys. Like, I caught on to it so fast. I was like, zoom, zoom, like just like the Holy Spirit caught me on that mountain and flew. Like, it gave me angel wings and I was just flying. I was
she's
like,
not lying.
I'm not lying. Like, I was going so fast. It was great. I did fall a couple times, but I got like right back up and I was like, yeah. But
But what would
John,
crack
he wouldn't catch this Holy Spirit like I did. He pizza the entire way down the mountain. His
he
poor
caught the Little
quads.
Caesars.
He caught the Little Caesars. His quads were on fire. And we didn't realize until he took off that jacket. He was drenched in sweat. And we were like, you shouldn't feel like this when you're skiing. Like, no, we, like, you
We
should
were
know.
all cold.
We were, I was like,
Oh god.
damn.
But what would really crack me up is Tara would be like, we would kind of like meet halfway down the mountain. And Tara'd be like, "It's fine, I'll wait on him. I'll wait on y'all go ahead, I'll wait on John." And then the next thing I know, I can't even see Tara's red gloves, like, cause that's what I was, like, looking for every time was your red gloves. And I was like, "Where'd she go? What what did she just is she down the mountain? Did she just she was gonna wait on him. She didn't wait on him. She's gone."
No.
And you were just like, the Holy Spirit took you and you were gone down the mountain. So I was like, all right, well, I guess I'm gonna go get her. Chad, you got John. All right, bye.
and and then remember at one point I was like, we were waiting for a while, and I was like, is everything okay? And then John calls me and he's like, hey, I'm just like chilling on the side of the mountain. And I was like, wait, you're like you're not skiing right now? He's like, no, I need to take a break. My quads.
Poor
And
guy.
oh, but it was so fun because we missed him at that last turn, he took the wrong green. So then he called and he's like, hey, I'm at the hotel. Where are y'all? And we're like, he's like at the slope by the hotel. And we were like, oh, we're down, yonder. And he was like, oh, okay. I was like, do you want to ski down here and meet us? And he was like, no, I think I'm
Y'all
just
go
going to
ahead.
ice my quads. So I was like, great, take care of yourself. Cause then Lauren, Chad, and I, then we got to go up. This was the highest, like, green, like, it was really long. It was like a full, I don't know how long, maybe 5 or 10 minutes, depending on how fast you go.
Yeah.
But it was our favorite run, and we all got to do it like at our speed because John
Boo. I'm
was.
sorry, y'all. That's Boo barking. He's really
That's
annoying. Oh, it's Grana coming in and interrupting the podcast.
oh, hey, Grandma.
It's okay. Come and say hey, Grana. Come and say
Grandma's
hi.
here.
Come and say hi. Yes, come all the way over. Everybody wants to see you.
This is great. At least I have on
Oh my
Tara's support.
Yes, you have on your PLA. Wait, this is the perfect opportunity because I was going to text you, Pat. Do you want to
She
be my
can't hear you.
date?
Hold on.
Oh, okay.
Hold on.
I said, this is the perfect time to ask you. I was going to text you today, but do you want to be my date to the autism? Is it autism? The Charlotte
The gala?
The gala that Lauren's keynote speaking at.
Turn the night blue.
Turn the
Yes.
night blue.
Yes. Yes. I'll get you a
Okay.
corsage.
All
All right, give
right.
my
All right.
headphones back.
Here we go.
Oh,
Bye,
Oh
Tara.
my
I
God.
love you.
Love you. Oh my God, I love her so much.
she's
So
crazy.
Lauren, so like totally side note, Pat asked me to be her date, her +1 to the Dream on 3 gala, which I couldn't fly out for that. But Lauren is going to be a keynote speaker at, is it Autism Society of Charlotte? Right?
It's called Autism Charlotte. So yeah,
Autism
it's
Charlotte.
which is basically short for the Autism Society of Charlotte. Yeah. But
Okay.
why you gotta always tell people things?
Because I'm so proud of you and I'm so excited. And so anyway, so now I got to like ask Pat if she could be my date. So I can't wait.
Yes, which is so special. She always hates like being her solo, but I'm like, it's fine, Mom. We're good with that. But I think she's not making the table an odd number, so have an even. even it out with Tara. Um, anyway, so our trip was great. It was so much fun. It was a nice reset, a good I can't believe that was Tara's first time skiing because she's Olympic level skier. And you should have just gone down the blacks.
No,
Double black diamond.
no, absolutely not. Absolutely not. But I did Google like ski resorts in Texas, even though I know we don't have any, because I was like, I have to like keep my professional card. Like I have to
Yeah,
keep this
Texas is
keep
real flat.
it's real flat. But they do
Real
have
flat.
like simulators. So I
Mm.
found like a simulator, which is definitely not the same, but I don't know. Skiing's like my new hobby. And I was telling John, I was like, this is going to be my new hobby. Like, this is what I want to do instead of Mexico. And he was like, oh, I'd much rather go to Mexico.
Well, maybe me and you could meet. Well, I don't know. Chad does love the skiing too, but maybe I think maybe John would enjoy like the snowmobiling and
He
some of the
wants to
other
snow tube. He
things.
loves to snow tube.
Yeah, snow tubing. It's
You
okay.
know,
Skiing is not for everyone.
it's not for,
It's
it's
all
for me
right.
though.
If
It's
it
for
is
me.
for you, it is for you. But let's not give up on John. I am wearing the Power of
No,
Yet sweatshirt. He is
I
not
know.
a
It
good
looks so cute
skier
on you.
yet.
Yet.
John is not good yet, but he could be,
Well, he could be.
maybe.
Maybe.
Maybe
I don't know.
one of these days. All right, so let's get into the episode. So, what I wanted to talk about, unless there's any other updates that you wanted to give, do you want to give any more updates? I could give
Um, I
random.
feel, yeah, I forget about my whole life. Like each day, I just like disassociate and go on with the next day. So there's probably a whole lot I'm missing.
I know. Well, we'll update throughout the podcast too, so it's fine. We like to jump around. But
Yeah,
today we wanted to get into a little talk about medication. This is definitely, we are not professionals. We are giving our stories, what has worked for us, what hasn't worked for us, and talking about a little bit of our medication journeys, both personally and for me. I'll kind of touch on Channing's medication journey as well, since a lot of people have had some questions about that, and Tara can kind of update you on where she is with Rob's journey. I keep saying the word journey, and that's going to drive me crazy, but
I
I
know.
don't
I say
know
it
what
so
else to
much
call it
too.
because
It's so
it's not.
annoying.
That's what it is, though. It's
An odyssey, maybe. It's definitely that.
yeah. It's a story, a journey, whatever. You're picking up what I'm putting down. Sorry that I keep saying the same word over again. But so you want to get into it? Are you ready to talk about this?
Yeah, I'm so ready because, as you know, so I guess let's talk about like you and I, like our medication journey and what we take and how that happened because it's so different. But
Mhm.
this is like the great thing about our friendship is we're both like just so open, um, like to learning and everything, and
Mhm.
just knowing that we don't always have the answers, even if we're not like doing something right then. It's like, okay, but I guess what I'm trying to get at is for a while, I remember just always asking Lauren about her medication and how it's helped her because I felt like I was just like struggling so hard. Like I was so, like I'd have really, really good days and then I'd have really, really bad days. And as Rob started to get older and like his sensory profile started to change, which I use that term a lot because it's just every child's sensory profile is so different. And in my case, it's always changing for Rob. He regulates differently, you know, like, and has different interests all the time. And so it's just like a lot of up and down over here with certain things, a lot of big emotions. So as that was starting to just kind of like set in as he got older, my hypervigilance was just like on a whole nother level, just trying to always like be prepared for helping him through a meltdown, helping him through emotions, being prepared like for him to sneak out of the house and wander, because that definitely is something that we still deal with. So the eloping part of our autism story is still very much like a big trigger for me mentally. Like it really can bring me down. And anyway, so all of this was just like building up, building up, building up. And I had in November, it was like a beginning of November or end of October, I can't remember, but I just had this moment where I'm like, okay, I'm going to get on something. Like I've talked to Lauren so much about it. I've talked about it with my other good friend, Danielle, my other friend, Kaylee. And I just like felt so comforted by trying this because nothing else was working. And I'll tell y'all like the details too, because I didn't even want to like wait. I tried to ask my OB, which I don't have a primary care doctor, which I should probably get one. But I asked my OB, hey, this is what I'm going through. Can you like prescribe me something? And she's like, no, we don't normally do that unless you're pregnant or postpartum. So I quickly Googled this app called Her, and I downloaded it, and I spoke with a doctor. I took like some evaluations, and basically I was diagnosed with severe, which duh, I already knew, anxiety. Like, yeah, nothing new here. And so it was a really smooth process, and they prescribed me um, 50 milligrams of Zoloft. It's like the generic name is like Sarah something tonin, not serotonin,
Sarah, serotonin.
serotonin,
No, I
sertraline,
think people know what
sertraline.
Zoloft is. They've heard of
Yeah,
Zoloft.
yeah. So they prescribed me that. I started off um, with 25 milligrams, and then after a week, bumped up to 50. But I will say, like, I was very tired at first. I didn't feel any kind of like difference, and it took quite a while to kick in. But I was so worried that I would not be the same. I was making jokes like, I don't, man, I don't want to lose my creative edge, like I don't want to like, I thought that I was going to be like a different person. And it really, I still feel like the same exact person. I just feel like the edge and the constant like heart palpitations have just really slowed down. And
I will say too, I don't want to interrupt you, but
yeah,
for me watching you go from, because I knew the moment, like the day you took your first dosage, because I think you sent me a picture and you were like, it's about to go down. I was like,
I
yes girl,
know.
I'm so proud of you, because I honestly was amazed that you were able to get this far without it. That says a lot to who you are, that you were able to, like, I mean, I'm not saying, I don't think that it's, you joked that it was like your biggest flex or whatever, and you were
Yeah.
kidding, saying that it
Yeah.
actually wasn't. But I,
Yeah.
I think too, the fact that you were trying to power through, I think that is commendable, but also that you finally said, like, I got to do something about it. I think that's
Mhm.
just as commendable, like,
Yeah.
um, but I will say watching you, I feel like now things that used to would have sent you into a depressive state,
Mhm.
into a really hard emotional, um, time. I feel like those things, you just call me now and you're like, guess what happened? This happened. And it's going to be okay. We're going to get through it. We're going to figure this out. And I'm like,
Yeah.
you're so much more balanced in that,
Yes.
like it used to would have been really hard, and
Mhm.
understandably so. And I'm not saying that the medicine masks any feelings, it just has helped you see it, that you can get through it. And it's still hard, but
Mhm.
it doesn't mean it's like the end of the world, because the things that
Yes.
you deal with on a daily basis are not easy things. And so the
Yeah.
medication is just helping you be able to handle things and be a little bit easier on yourself,
Yes, no, 1,000%. And, right before this, it was funny because I called Lauren and I was like, she was already ready, set up for the podcast. And I was like in my robe and I had just got out of the cold plunge. I just got done working out. And what the medication has now done for me is it's now a tool to allow me to utilize other tools that are I'm learning crucial to my mental and physical health, like working out, cold plunging. I know if you don't knock it until you try it, but eating healthier, I think too, like keeping up with like just cleaning and like organizing my home because that can be a big thing when you're in a depressive state or just have high anxiety and you just feel like you can't even move because your body's just trying to like regulate. So I feel like what it has done for me is it's helped me to reach for other tools that I also now I'm trying to treat like medication and a non-negotiable like working out and eating better. And I truly think like organizing and keeping your home like clean and everything is another form of I don't know, anti-anxiety medication because when your environment is clean, when it's organized, I feel like it helps with your mind. So it's just like it's not like medication has helped everything, but it has
Yeah.
allowed me to like to just approach life in a calmer state most days and take better care of myself in other areas because I feel like it for me it's like it all matters to making me feel better and feel good. Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Oh, absolutely, because I feel the same way, and my family would say the same thing. Like, they know that if the house is crazy and things all over the place, like, my mental state is also the same way, you know? So I'm like,
Yeah.
I gotta get everything as organized as possible
Hmm.
before I can, like, focus and be, less anxious, So, and I've realized
Hmm.
that about myself, and my family knows that about myself. My husband would say I'm crazy, but it it,
No, you're not
it
crazy.
is
It's
it's
just like
just who I am.
it's who you are. And I'll just say one last thing too, like when I'm talking about how the medication isn't like just like a cure all, the reason why I started working out and dunking myself in ridiculously cold water was because I went through a really depressive episode about a month ago, and it was because of you know behaviors from Rob that I just it was it was hurting my soul, my heart, and I felt like I had no control. I felt like I just like lost all control. And I realized that I needed to calm my nervous system and be able to approach these situations in a completely different mindset than I was. And so, what working out now has done for me, what cold plunging and essentially now like eating better too, and making just like more protein choices because I was missing a lot of protein in my diet. What all of this has done for me is now when Rob starts to, exhibit those big emotions, I have learned how to approach it differently. And now I'm teaching John, and my dad is on board. And we're preventing a lot of meltdowns. We have prevented a lot of meltdowns and behaviors that were, not good for him. And so it's really important for me to say that because I think society looks at like people who get on SSRIs. Oh, they're just trying to fix it with a pill. And it's like,
Mhm.
no, we need this so that we can be better in other areas too. We need this to help us get off the couch and
Mhm.
exercise or go on a walk or play with our children more, whatever. So,
Yeah, and we're definitely not saying, go get on medication, that's what you need to do. We're just
mhm,
sharing our feelings about it because for the both of us, it has been life-changing and life-saving in a lot of
yes.
ways. And
Yes.
I think it's important to just say that,
Mhm.
we're on it and this is what's working for us. And, if you're not on it, that's fine too. Like, as long as you have, whatever is working for you and it's helping you to be the best you can be, then great.
Yeah.
But I
Like,
just
I
don't think
thought
it should be taboo to talk about it.
no, and I thought I was, like, so strong, like you were mentioning. I was like, "Oh, I don't need medication," you know? Uh, John will tell you too, John was very, just hesitant because of the societal, stigma. And he was like, I don't want you to change. I don't want you to be a zombie, blah, 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 blah. And now I ask him all the time, I'm like, don't you think like life is so much better now with a
Mhm.
regulated wife? And he's like, no, it's been amazing. But I want to talk about like your journey too, because you really helped me. I mean, I spoke to Lauren about this for over a year, like way over a year. And
Oh,
so
I
that's
was about
how
to say
long.
like 3 years probably.
Yeah. Yeah, but like seriously considering it for over a year. But that's why we're talking about it here with y'all today, because it's like sometimes you just need someone to come to a decision that's good for yourself. Maybe, you
Mhm.
know what I mean? Maybe you have to wait. Maybe you're ready to do it now. Maybe you don't want to do it at all. But just being able to talk to someone and talk through it with someone who is living like a similar life is so important. It's so healthy. It's so
Mhm.
helpful. So, yeah, talk to us about how your medication, let's say Odyssey, we
Yeah,
won't use the
and
word journey.
well, I wanna get back to what you were just about to say because I wanted to
Okay.
add a little something to that.
Okay.
So a friend of mine, I'm gonna call her Taylor because that's not her name, but I did not ask her if I could share this. She was actually talking to me about how she is on medication and she was just bringing it up randomly because she was like, I have finally been able to find a balance of two medications that is helping her, feel this, homeostasis, like to feel good and happy and to parent. And she was saying that, one of the medication actually has made her gain weight. And she was like, it's so hard because that's one thing that a lot of people have a hold up about,
Mhm.
because we even
Mhm.
talked about it, like, what will it make you gain weight? Because, I mean,
Yes, I did ask
sometimes
about
that
that.
can make you upset too, because when your body changes, that's a hard thing to go through. Um, so she was like, one of them actually is making me gain weight. She's like, but I'm so much happier because of
Mhm.
the two together. She was like, I'm going to try and get a trainer, do some working out, figure out how to make it work. And a lot of times too, like you can gain weight initially and then it kind of taper off. I don't know. Again, we're
Mhm.
not doctors, but
Yeah.
I think it's important to say that she was even wanting to stay. She felt so much better on the medication that
Mhm.
she was like, the weight gain sucks, but
Mhm.
my happiness and my marriage and my family are doing so
Mhm.
much better. She was like,
Yeah.
I'll figure out the weight side. And that is one of the downsides is it can, trigger weight gain and stuff. But I was really proud of her for just like talking to me about that.
Yeah.
And two, for she's been working on this for a while now. So the fact that and that's another thing to just mention, it sometimes isn't just that you get on one pill and you're better.
Mhm. Mhm.
It can take a concoction of things. It can take medicine plus diet. Plus, it can
Yes.
take a lot of different things.
Yes,
Um
and remember, I started taking my medication in the mornings, and I felt like a shell of myself when I was like starting on it, and my body was like I felt like very tired all the time. And then when my friend Kaylee, who I know she'll be fine if I share this because she talks about her medication journey too, told me to take it at night. Everything like changed. It was so much better. So it's just like you said, it's just like figuring out trial and error, like what medication, what time, how much.
Yeah,
It
and
can
it's
it can be a
crazy
process.
because you told me that about how you were taking yours at night, and remember I went and looked at my bottle. I have been on mine. I'm gonna tell y'all about my journey, but I have been
Yes.
on mine for, like, 8 years now, and I go back and look at my bottle, and it says, "May make you, like, drowsy," or something, and I was like, "Holy crap, this is why I've been so overly tired." I mean, I know there's other things contributing to that, 1 AM
Mhm.
wake up calls, but
Mhm.
I have now switched mine to nighttime and feel so much better. I was like, "Gosh, it took me 8 years to figure that one out. Thanks, Tara."
Thank you.
All I
Well,
had to do
thank you.
was read the bottle. Jeez.
Oh
Really, I'm not
gosh.
I'm not winning any intelligent awards over here.
Yes,
But,
you are.
anyway, so my odyssey, as we're gonna call it, began after Channing was born. I had really bad postpartum depression. I would cry all the time. I never wanted Chad to go to work and leave me. I was so sad for some reason. And now I know it was postpartum, but at the time I didn't know what was going on. My hormones were all over the place. Channing was a difficult baby in that we always just like said he was woke all the time. Like he was just like eyes wide open. He was like, "Hello world, here I am. What you got?" Like, "Oh, you want me to sleep? Okay. 15-minute power nap. Ready? Back up." And I was like, everybody said babies slept all the time, and I was like, this one don't. Like, oh, why don't this one? He was like elf, and he's like, I got 30 whole minutes. I'm like,
Yep.
hmm.
Yep.
But and obviously sleep can really contribute to your mood and stuff too. So I was tired and all the things. So I went and talked to my OB at the time because at the time I was still under the care of an OB since it was, right after having Channing. And she talked to me, went through the whole checklist. I don't know if you remember the postpartum
Oh
checklist
yeah, I do.
screenings that they do on, their and they have you fill it out like when you go into for you go for like the you're going for the baby like visits, but then they have you, fill out the little checklist and I failed it drastically. She like comes walking in and she was like, "So, are
Yeah.
you okay?" And I just start crying. Like she came walking in with the Kleenex box because I mean she had already seen my survey and my
Mhm.
survey says she got it bad. So, there was really no question for me because she basically was saying like you need medication, Lauren. She was like, if
Mhm.
if you don't get on medication, I'm not sure, you know, how that looks for you, but for the safety of you and your family and everybody, I think you need to be on medication. And I'm kind of embarrassed to say that out loud. I don't know that I've ever really told people that she said that, but yeah, here we are. So,
Well, can I just say too, like it's really brave of you that you actually filled out that form accurately because a lot of us, cough me, will totally avoid those questions and lie so that you could just get through it. And, like, so I had that same questionnaire and I like lied my way through it because I didn't want anyone to flag me. But it's so
mhm,
important to be honest with your doctor like you were for this very reason.
mhm. So yeah, I was definitely flagged. and 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 I'm glad I was because I do think, like I said before, that it was life-saving, life-changing for me. So I started on Celexa, which is it so yours I think was more anxiety driven. Mine was actual depression driven, but obviously anxiety is like a you know, sidebar of depression kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, "Oh, you get this and this at the same
Mhm.
time. Oh, lucky
Yeah.
you."
Yeah. You
Like a
get a full
buffet.
plate. Yeah. Oh, with a side
um,
of tears.
oh yes, and it might have a little weight gain. Oh, and then you can get like a side of dry mouth.
And, dude, the dry mouth, it was a real thing for a while.
I know it really is.
I forgot about
It
that. I was like, "Ooh, I'm parched."
Yeah. Yeah, but, so I started on Celexa. I am still on Celexa. I am now on the maximum dose. I started on the minimum dose, but that's okay. It just kind of over time I have increased. And I will say it took a couple months before I really felt better, but I kept going back to my doctor because they wanted to see me to make sure I was doing okay. And I think over time, I, it really started to help. And now I can't. I mean, I don't. I can't say like I can't go without it, but I don't want to go without it because it has helped so much. And I know like the goal in life is you don't want to be on a medication long term. But I've also talked to my doctor about it, and it's not something that she's concerned with me being on long term. She's
Mhm.
saying it's okay. This is okay. Um, and I am very thankful that I was able to have the medication. Then once we know we started the process of autism diagnosis and everything, and thankfully I was already on the medication. So that
Mhm.
helped with that significantly, I feel like. So I don't know. It's a good thing, and it has been a good thing. And
Yeah.
I felt like from day one, I felt supported from everybody about being on the medication. And I feel like you have been too,
Mhm.
because that's so
Yeah.
important is that we're supported,
Mhm.
that we're doing this.
Well,
Um,
and yeah, and I like I said with John, like it took him some convincing and not like he was telling me not to do it or any kind of argument ensued about it. It's just him being hesitant and like saying, okay, let's look into it. Let's do research. Like, I just want to make sure it's good for you. And so it took, and I think a lot of, people have a partner that might have grown up thinking like medication like that isn't what what people need. And it's been so nice because John has realized, like, okay, that line of thinking isn't healthy all the time. Like, sometimes, yeah, we should approach things in a more holistic way if we can. But guess what? I did that. I tried. I tried all the supplements. And maybe I could have done things better or in a more perfect way, but I'm only human and I needed help. And I'm I'm just I'm glad that you felt all that support. And it's so important to have it when you decide to make a big decision like that. Because it's a big
mhm,
decision.
yeah. And I know I said it before, but I really am so proud of you for you know, doing it because I feel like it was a harder for me if somebody's like, "Here's this drug, take it." I'm like, "Okay, give it to me." you know. You know? And that's just I hate to say that I'm like that and not with recreational drugs, but
Well, I'm proud.
I'm just kidding. No.
I'm proud of you for being patient with me as a friend because I can only imagine you being like hanging up the phone like this bitch just needs to get on medication. But you
I
never,
mean, that's what I would say, but I didn't say no,
yeah.
I never
Yeah,
said that.
I know.
No. No, I would sometimes think, well, gosh, why do I need this if she's been able to not have it? That's honestly what I would think.
The comparison, yeah,
And
not good.
yeah, and that's not good either.
Mm-mm.
So I'm glad we're both on the same playing field now. I'm just kidding. But no, I really am. I'm proud of both of us and I'm
Yeah,
proud of us for talking about this because it's not an
yeah,
easy thing to talk about. And there are some people that really disagree with it. And that's okay too,
that's
because,
okay.
you can have your opinion. That's what it is. It's your opinion.
Hmm. Yeah, and I recently made a reel and I was basically saying like, you're not weak if you take medication and no one is stronger than you if they
I
don't.
love that. I love that.
And it sounds a bit harsh, but it is what it is. Like you are
Mhm.
not stronger than me because you don't need what I need. And a lot of these people who might have something to say, they don't live a life like ours. I mean, I have a lot of stress,
Mhm.
like a lot of us do on this journey. So I don't know. Ask
Well,
for help if you need it and talk to your friends, talk to a trusted resource because it's so vital that at least you just, even just talking through it is so healthy. And that's what I was saying to you is like just being open to me asking you all of these questions for so long was therapeutic and cathartic for me in a way, because I knew
mhm.
like, okay, Lauren's okay. This is something I can try when I'm ready.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
Which
okay, no, go ahead.
no, you go ahead.
I lost it.
Okay. Well then, well then I'll go ahead. Um, well, I had written down to say, like what would you tell someone on the fence about medication, but I think you kind of just covered that. Um,
Yeah.
I think it's
Yeah.
important
What
just
would
to
you
talk about
say?
it. Um, the same thing. I mean, I would say that medication isn't going to fix everything. It's
Mm-hmm.
it's not you know, a magic pill that is going to make everything better. It has helped me to look at things differently and to take a step back and take a breather at times when other moments I would have, just lost it.
Mm-hmm.
It helps me not cry as much.
Yes.
And it really makes me just feel it's almost I don't know if I, like, rely on I don't rely on it, but I just it's like when I take it, I'm reminded of, "Okay, you need this. This is gonna help you." I don't know, it, like, gives
Mm-hmm.
me a little boost of, like,
Yeah.
"We got
Support. You
this,"
feel
kinda thing.
supported, like in your mental health. It's something that adds to your mental health support that day. And it's a reminder that, okay, like I'm not doing this by myself.
Yeah.
Um,
But,
absolutely.
I would say don't go into it lightly. I I went into it just saying yes to whatever I was offered because I was desperate. Um, but if you're, not at the point where I was, then I would say, do your research, talk to people, talk
Mhm,
to doctors, find out,
mhm.
what you're really needing the medication for. But again, I'm not trying to sound like a professional because I'm not. Um, so I just don't want people to say, well, Lauren said this.
No.
Um,
N- yeah, no. And the other thing is too is what I'll say is I am really big into just to like biohacking and I love like holistic remedies and all that. And it almost feels like you're cheating when and I'm not crunchy by any means to where I live my life like that. Like I get McDonald's, like you know what I mean? But I love to look for ways to better my health in a holistic way. And I listened to a podcast recently, um, and she was basically describing the same feeling of feeling like she was like cheating on everything she believed in by needing this medication. She said she got cocky and she got off of it and was brutally reminded, okay, no, I need this so that I can exercise, so that I can eat healthy, so that I can, supplement in areas that I'm deficient in. It's a tool and it maybe not everyone needs it, but I've realized that I need it. And it's
mhm.
very important to allowing me to live a well rounded, healthy lifestyle. like you said, it's not this magic pill. It's not going to fix all your problems, but it's going to help support you to take on the day and do other things for yourself, um, that are just as healthy. And that's at least how it is for me.
Yep. You're so right. Um, so I know that I've been talking about it on my stories a little bit the past like day. And then I had a lot of people asking questions about Channing and is he on medication and what medication is he on? And I am totally comfortable sharing about it if it will help somebody. Um, and I think we've talked about it on the podcast before, so I hate to be redundant, but
I feel like we
um,
like touched on it, and I think this is a nice time to dive into it and go into it a little bit further.
yeah, so I will say that when Channing around 2 and 3 was some of the hardest years for us with Channing, new diagnosis, not knowing a whole lot, um, behaviors, all the things. So when he was 3, I remember going into the doctor's office and begging for medication. I was like, "I'm on medication," his dad has medication for ADHD, like I think he needs medication. I don't know what to do. And the doctor looked at me and was like, he's too young right now. We don't want to
Mm-hmm.
put him on medication at this time. And if somebody's kids at 3 are on medication, that's totally fine. It's just looking at Channing, this is what the doctor said.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, I don't want to put him on medication. So this is not something that we went into lightly at all. Like it was the course of 2.5 years of discussing medications before we even started the medication.
Mm-hmm.
So at 5, when he went in, and I believe he was actually more like 5.5, um, the doctor, was watching him in his chair that he wasn't sitting in. He was kind of like all over the room and everything. And I wasn't going to mention it because I had mentioned medication so many times before. And this one time
Mm-hmm.
I did not mention it. And the doctor was like, how would you feel about starting him on a medication? And I was like, what? I thought that you didn't want to do it. He was like,
Yep.
well, he's 5.5 now. And now we're getting to the point where I can see that for him to be in a classroom situation, it is going to help him to focus. I think it'll help you see a decrease in, just hyperactivity and an increase in being able to, relax and I mean, focus, but also just kind of, not have as many things, like, going crazy because he's such a little movie
Yeah,
wiggly guy all the
it
time.
will help him like quiet his mind and his body, you know.
Yes. Yes. Exactly. So, the first thing that he suggested was guanfacine, and he said for him to take a half a tablet in the morning and then a half a tablet in the afternoon. So we started with that. I will say that I noticed for the first 4 to 6 weeks, and the doctor did warn me that it would take time to get regulated in his system, but for that first little bit, I was really scared. I was like, Channing is so tired. He is lethargic. I don't feel like he's doing his same stems. I am scared that it's changing who he is, and I didn't want that at all.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but once we hit a mark, and I don't remember, sorry, felt like I was about to sneeze. I don't remember if it was 4 or 6 weeks, but there was a point where literally he woke up one morning and he was chanting. And I could tell. I was like, he's back. I was like, we are back.
We are back, baby.
So, I was super relieved to see that he seemed to be back to his normal self. His little stems were coming back. And really, over time, I mean, he's still the same Channing that he was before we got him on the medication. Now he's able to sit at school. I mean, he still has to get up and, run around the room, jump, go into his little tent that he has in the room, take breaks, but he's able to sit and focus more. We can tell when he doesn't take it, he seems a little bit more intense, a little bit more sensory seeking. He's already, very sensory oriented, but it's more
Hmm.
so. It seems like it's heightened, and we're like, wait, did he have his medicine today? Um, so we've definitely noticed a big difference. And now he is on, I can't remember like when we started switching what the dosage was, but it's he just takes it in the morning. And what's funny is a lot of people take guanfacine at night because it helps
Yeah.
them like sleep and rest, and he does not.
Yes.
He does not
Well,
take it at night because
that's
we
what I was
need
gonna
that first
ask.
thing in the morning.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask you. So at first, when he first started, did it help him sleep better through the night?
I don't remember it really helping him sleep. It was like he would sleep in the afternoon, and it
Because
was
that's a
like the times
question
you
that,
didn't want him to sleep. Yeah,
yeah.
because he was super lethargic. It made him very tired, which was nice in a way because he never really
Mhm.
rested, but it was also like, this isn't the time I want him to sleep.
Yeah. Well, because
S
I know a couple of moms that I've spoken to about guanfacine, and they specifically give it to their children at night because of the sleep factor, and it
Mhm,
helps them with sleep. But I like hearing your perspective that it is something that helps support Channing in his learning at
mhm.
school,
Yeah.
because I think that's important too. Because sometimes we don't hear those two perspectives. Um, and so when did you up his? So he started at 5.5, and when did you up his dose?
So now he just it's always been the same dose. It was just a half and a half. So he was still getting the same dosage in 24 hours, but it was just split up. And so
Mm,
then about I want to say like a year ago, it went where we just give the whole dosage in the morning, and
mhm.
that's enough to get him through the day. And that's been easier because it's just one time of giving it to him. And a lot of people have asked me, how did we get him to take it? And like I took a picture of the pills and put it on my story today, but it's really small tablet, and when it was in half, it was, super small, but we have never been able to trick him with like
Yeah.
putting it in something,
Hmm.
crushing it up. He can always tell. And
Yeah.
that's just how he is. And we also felt like then that we were hiding it from him. So it was
Yeah.
almost like, okay, let's just be upfront and tell him we're giving him medicine, what it's for. I would always say, mommy takes medicine too. This helps me. And was it easy at first? No. Like, I mean, it was
Yeah. How long did it
hard
take for him to? Because he takes it.
every
He just
day.
like takes it in his
And
and he.
eats it. Yeah, so
Yeah.
he doesn't know how to swallow pills, so he eats it, so he chews it up. You know that tastes terrible,
Yeah.
but he just grabs his water right after and eats it, but or drinks it, but he so what we would do is we would, show him the pill, hand it to him and say, you're going to get this candy after you take this. And he did not want it. He just wanted the candy, Channing has always been super motivated by candy though.
Yeah.
So
He loves his
candy is
Skittles.
clutch. Yes.
Yeah.
So, finally we would get, and he would try to spit it out. I mean, it took like a month, but doing it every single day for a month.
Hmm.
So 31 days where finally he was able to take it, and now he takes it no question.
Yeah.
But it's part of his routine. It's every day, and he loves that routine. So I think
Hmm.
that that helps us with him taking it. And for us, just showing it to him and not trying to hide it just was the easiest way because I don't know. I feel like a lot of times Channing feels he feels good when we just out with stuff, like
Yeah.
this is what we're gonna do, like shots at the doctor. Like, you're
Hmm.
not gonna like this. He's about to give you a shot, but and I would feel the same way. I don't want to be surprised or it
Yeah.
hidden from me. So, but I mean, do we hide it from our daughter? For sure. Like when we give her stuff, we definitely hide it from her. So, that's different kids, different.
Yes.
She doesn't want to know, but I feel like Channing wants to know.
Yes.
Um, so that's what's worked for us. And then we started, I guess it's been a year now that we've been doing the hydroxyzine at night. And that was because the guanfacine, once it wore off, he'd be up all night. Um,
Yeah. But
so
I'll just say he's so good. Like he like stays in his bed and he's so good. Rob, when he's up all night, I mean, the house is turned up. Like every light, every TV.
his
So
room is turned up. Channing's room is turned up. I mean, and we've ripped stuff off the walls
yeah.
and ripped down chandeliers and jumped from the bed to the dresser, from the dresser to the floor. I mean, he sounds like a herd of elephants upstairs, but he's the herd of elephants is contained.
So what made you decide, okay, we've got to try this? What was like, was there like a moment?
For the guanfacine
No, the
or the
hydrox,
hydroxyzine.
mhm.
Yes. So we have to go because we're on a medication. We have to go to the developmental pediatrician every 6 months to keep the medication and refilled and all of that. So when we went at one point, he was asking me about Channing's sleep. And
Mhm.
I was like, he's probably up at 2 a.m. like every other night, like every third night. And he was like, what? I was like, yeah, I mean, but that's pretty good because and he was like, "Lauren." He was like, "That's not good." And I was like, "Well, I mean, it could be worse and it's been worse before." And he was like, nah, like this is not good." So he basically told me I was just going with it. I was like, "Oh, I mean, it is what it is."
Yeah.
And he said, "We have a medication called hydroxyzine, which is basically a prescription strength Benadryl, non habit forming, um, safe for him to take every night." And so we did that. I guess it was a year ago, like I said. And I mean, he still has nights where he wakes up at, 1, 2 a.m. for the day, but they're more like once every 2 weeks
Yeah,
rather than
that's
every
good.
2 days. You know,
That's
it's
a
a
big
big
difference.
difference, and I will take it any day over what we were dealing with.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Yeah, I know. Well, and I'm so glad you're talking about all this too, because just like how I talked to Lauren for such a long time about medicating myself, I have had so many of these same discussions with her about Channing's medication and just like where we're at with Rob. So Rob's not on any medication. I just want to wait to understand like what it is I think he might or might not need. Um, but as he gets older, I'm open to any way to support him to just living as independently as he can, as happily as he can. So that door is like wide open for both John and I. And I think that's a really great place to be. And if you're in a similar place as us, um, I want to make sure to share that because it is hard to be in this waiting of unknown and not sure what to do, but it's a normal part of the process. I will say that Lauren and I were kind of talking before this episode about medication and stuff, and that we were going to chat about it. And I was like, well, I really want to share about like sick care and sick medication because Rob doesn't take any oral medications yet, how hard that can be, and this the doctor in general. And so I just wanted to give like a little PSA that if your child like does have a really hard time taking oral medications, um, make sure to ask your doctor about shots that can be administered, like antibiotics can be administered via shot, steroids. There are things that we can do to help our children. You just kind of have to advocate a little bit, because I can't tell you how many times the doctor will still be like, "Oh, have you tried mixing it in yogurt?" And I don't know. I'm like, "Girl,
Yeah.
no."
And a lot of the medications that I'm talking about too have other forms as well that I
Oh,
have not asked about, but
okay.
I know that people have told me like that there are some liquid forms. There's a patch version of some things, so there
Oh,
are, like you said, advocate for your child. Ask, like,
yeah.
I want this medication,
Yes.
but how else can I administer it? And there could be
Yes.
other options, but I was never
Yes.
told either,
Yes, and
so.
you have to ask. But
Mhm.
like the patch for medication, yes, because that's probably how I would, if we get to the point, that's probably the first thing I would maybe try with Rob, because it's just super hard for him.
Mhm.
Um, Rob was also diagnosed with ADHD about 2 years ago, so we have topical creams that we use to help support him with that.
What do
Um,
you use specifically? People wanna
So
know.
it's a brand called Neurobiologics. You can get it off Amazon. We've been using this for like over 2 years. We use the Methylation Pro formula, and we use the GABA um, formula cream. It's like called the calming cream. So we use that, and then we use a magnesium. And we have noticed that does support Rob in just like I like I don't want to change anything about Rob. I just don't want him to feel upset.
Mhm.
That's the only thing. Like if I could take away. And so when we started these, that is like what I could tell. Like I just felt like Rob was his like happy, stimmy, sensory seeking, happy noises self a little bit more often. But you have to be consistent with it, is what we've learned. And y- it's like twice a day that we do it. It's twice a day. I was thinking it was 3 times, but it's twice a day. So that's what we do to help him. It has also helped with sleep, but if you do follow me on Instagram, you know that like Rob is like definitely nocturnal a lot of nights, like Channing. So it doesn't like it's like just like us. It's not a magic pill. It's something that helps support, but it's not like this magic thing that makes sleepless nights go away forever or
Yeah.
big emotions go away forever. um so that's kind of like where we're at. Like I said, the door's like totally wide open for us to explore whatever we think would be helpful to Rob's like overall health and happiness as he gets older. And I can't believe our kids are like Channing's going to be 9,
I know.
Rob's going to be 8.
Yeah,
So
I
oh,
know.
it's just a
Well,
lot.
and that's why I'm glad that for us, we've started the medication journey now,
Mhm.
because it's hard. One of my nephews, I'm not going to say which one so that I'm not, you know, messing with anybody's privacy, but he started medication recently, and he's also going through puberty. So it's
Oh
hard
yeah.
to know what
Hmm.
is puberty and what is medication side effects, and that's really
Yeah.
hard. And I was like, I never thought about that.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm really glad that we have started with Channing on medication whenever he wasn't going through something else at the same time,
Yeah.
because then it really is hard to tell and decipher which is which. Like, what are these emotions
Yeah.
actually coming from?
Yeah.
Um,
Oh my God, I'm
yeah,
not ready for that.
I know.
I'm
I
not.
no, no. Channing is 94 pounds and 4 feet 10 inches. We just went to the doctor yesterday, so that's why I know all these information. And I'm like imagining, what am I gonna do when he's bigger? It's gonna be so
Yeah.
much more difficult to manage.
Yeah. And I have
Um,
Henry, Henry's going to be 15 this year. And so I've been on this. Um, like I've experienced, that with him, and I just know it's going to be so different going through it with Rob because Henry can tell me how he's feeling, or we can talk about things, and Henry can like has his privacy. And with
Yeah.
Rob, when you have someone that has high support needs and they need more, like they need like one-on-one, a lot of times 24/7, like kind of care. I just think about being in his shoes, and I'm going to try to always remember this, like his right, like he wants privacy too, even when I think he needs to have like me nearby for something. I'm like, I need to remember he's going to need that privacy, and not not just to be alone in his thoughts like any teenager. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And amongst other things, just like growing and figuring yourself out. And so that's a whole nother topic that I'm going down now. But like we said, it's just like it it's a lot to think about as you start. If you're going to start something, think about what stage your child's in, and just remember like what could be a result of something like puberty or just a regression. Even like our kids, I feel like a lot of times go through regressions at certain ages, and it's it's a roller coaster.
It is. It's such a roller coaster. And it's funny you were saying that about like needing privacy and space and stuff because Channing, just this past week when he was doing spelling, the week before when I was gone, they said he had his best session yet. And
Because you weren't
I was
there.
like, oh, of course he did. So I'm there this week and I've been there every other week, but the week that he had his best session. And this week I was sitting there and I was sitting right beside of him and I was like, he is not feeling this right now. So I got up and just like walked over to the other side of the room. Dude was laughing, so happy. I was like, "You don't want me near you. You
Hmm.
want your space." And it was
Yes.
the truth. That's
No, it's
100% what he wanted.
yeah,
I
no,
was
it
like,
truly is.
"Wow."
And we have to like remember those things because Henry like loves me. He loves to spend time with me when he wants to, right? Because that's the whole teenager thing. I get it. We're all, But if he does not want to be like around me and he wants his alone time, like he's going to be cranky. He's going to be annoyed by me. And it's the same with our kids. It's just um, we have to remember it because they can't necessarily like communicate it to us in a
Yeah,
conversational way, at least yet. So, oh, maybe that's a
I know.
whole other topic that if we're still doing this podcast in the next few years, we could
I
talk
know.
about.
Ugh. Well, this was good to talk about. I hope that it helps someone. I hope that um if you are on medication, it helps you just feel less alone or validated for your decision to be on it. And if you're not, I hope that you just maybe see why somebody might need it.
Mhm.
Um, because, your girl needs it, and that's
Yeah.
okay.
And that's okay. Yeah, I feel like a just better version of myself. And like I said, I don't feel changed. Like my personality doesn't feel changed. I just feel like my heart doesn't beat as fast.
Yeah.
And I just feel like I cry less, which is
Yeah.
amazing. Maybe that's why I have the night sweats. Maybe my body's like, "Oh, girl, it's been a while since you cried. Let's get."
I have the night sweats too, and I think that is we're either premenopause or it's a side effect of the medication because there are side effects. So, whatever.
or or I was reading it could be my liver. So I'm like, "Oh, I need some liver support."
Oh gosh,
I
I'm
don't
not
know.
gonna even look it up. If I look it up, I'm definitely dying. So,
No.
when I go down a Google rabbit hole, you can get it to tell you whatever you want to hear,
You really can.
and it'll be bad. But well, we'll be back next week, probably next
Next
week.
week. I feel like yeah, we had a little blip in the cadence, but I feel like we're good.
Yeah,
We're good.
we're
We're good to
we're good.
go.
So yeah, we'll be back next week. And as always, you can watch our podcast on YouTube,
If you
um,
dare.
if you dare. And it's just under Our First Rodeo underscore podcast. And you can see us because we are always recording these.
All right. Well, we love you guys and thank you for, just being a part of this conversation with us. We know these decisions aren't easy in any case, but hopefully, like Lauren said, you're not alone. No matter where you're at on this journey, let's use the word for the
Odyssey.
last time. All right. Bye,
All right.
guys.